finding a name that can actually be used is more and more difficult. People just can't do it on their own anymore.
Laurel Sutton is co founder of Catchword, a company that specializes in naming products.
When people think about naming, they think of Mad Men. They think that a bunch of people go to a bar and have some beers and write names down on cocktail napkins, and then they say, brilliant, this is the name. And that's not how naming is done.
In fact, there are all kinds of concerns: name, trademark, and website availability. And for drugs, there are FDA requirements. A new drug name needs to sound different from others to avoid confusion.
But they also need to look different. So if you write something down in a doctor's terrible handwriting, it can't be confused for something else again that could potentially harm the patient.
But how do you get a name like Comirnaty? That's what Pfizer is calling its vaccine in the US.
You look at it and you're not sure how to pronounce it. Not great for a brand name.
The name is a combination of community, immunity, COVID, and mRNA.
Companies always want names to carry every message, and this is the case with Comirnaty. They wanted it to say all those things: community, immunity, mRNA, immunization, and you just end up with sort of an alphabet soup of words that are all mashed together.
Moderna, on the other hand, has a more striking name for its vaccine once the FDA gives it formal approval: Spikevax.
It makes total sense. Also, it sounds effective. It sounds sort of maybe even a little violent, but it gets the job done. It's aggressive. It's a very aggressive name, and perhaps that's what we need for a COVID vaccine, something that sounds like it's really going to knock it out.
The same company, Brand Institute, came up with both names, but the drugs aren't going to be purchased by consumers. They're aimed at the medical community. So what good is the time and expense involved to meet all the naming demands?
In the end, does it matter that much? Probably not. As long as the name, again, doesn't mean something terrible, it's fine. It's perfectly fine and perfectly serviceable. And people are going to call it the Pfizer vaccine anyway.